do that, right?
How much can you deadlift?
My deadlift is garbage because my grip is very poor. Very poor. I bought straps the other day, though, because I think if I get straps, perhaps.
You get the straps work pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Oh, hey. Hey, you want to start the show? Let me put the ticker on. It's very professional. Tim, welcome, America, to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. It's presented by, oh, shit, you know what? I didn't read who the sponsor is today. 1 second. Oh, my God, it's the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. Hey, America. You ever consider being on this show? You know what you should do? Go to the ericandrodneyshow.com. You can fill out an application and maybe be on. Probably not, but maybe. Then you're going to go, oh, my God, I was so good on that show. I should be on more shows. Well, you know what we can do? We can book you on 1 million podcasts. That seems like too many. I know. But some of those million you could be on. And then you go, oh, my God, I was so good on the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. I was so good on the million other podcasts. I should have my own show. But how will I produce it and edit it and post it? Well, I have great news. We can do that for you. For money, go to the ericandrodneyshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, very special guest today. Welcome, the chief consultant from MKC Agency, Megan Killion. Welcome to the show. Oh, my God. You made it.
Megan. Welcome. In honor of Megan, can you get rid of that banner?
Appreciate it.
Yep. No, we appreciate you showing up since guests have a tendency not to do that, but you're here and we appreciate that.
Megan, last week we had a guy.
No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? But we had a guy last week who's a podcaster.
Yep.
And he couldn't figure out how to get on the computer. Somehow, though, 30 minutes into the show, when he'd give it abandon all hope, he was able to get on LinkedIn.
Thank God. Thank God he was able to. Well, listen, clicking on the StreamYard link isn't just clicking on the StreamYard link. It's much more complicated than that.
I did my due diligence, and there's came down to my office this morning and restarted my PC.
See?
I was like, we're not going to fuck around. I'm just going to restart my computer. And then my video cannot possibly be stuck in Zoom or Teams or whatever crazy stuff gets it stuck. Just start from the top, and everything was fine.
Every morning I restart Chrome just in case. That's what I do because I'm a fucking professional. Anyway, listen, we need to get here's the I don't know if you've seen the show, but this is what we do. We cover the news in the first half hour because America demands our opinion. Yes, the news. And then the evening gown portion, we interview you, ask you some questions, talk about your journey, all that LinkedIn shit. But before we get to the news, I don't know if you know this, Megan. Every day in the United States, some reason to celebrate, some reason to get excited. And today's a good day. Oh, ready? National Cookie Day. Here we go. Oh,
this is I'm already into it.
Me too.
You have a list.
I mean,
do you have like a top 10 list? I'm sure you do.
Well, okay, we're gonna go all over the place. What we're gonna cover is kinds of cookies.
We like all cookies.
Well, we're gonna cover national sales of cookies. But before we get to that, I just wanted to bring up the non-official Eric and Rodney Show with Robin cookie hierarchy.
There we go.
This is what I think. I know you guys didn't participate. I think number one is homemade, ideally from a dead person's recipe. If somebody goes, these are my great-grandmother's oatmeal cookies, you know they're going to be amazing because they're going to be filled with lard and cocaine. There's going to be amazing things in there.
That's
number two, I would say, and we can review at the end, bakery, but not Italian. I fucking hate Italian cookies with the passion that burns.
They don't use any sugar.
They're too dry.
They always dry. Yes. Okay, let's pause here. You could spackle a house with Italian cookies. They are dry as fuck.
There's a time and a place for Italian cookies.
Saying, I'm sorry if my husband's meme is watching, but no, Italian cookies are terrible.
Can I make a comment?
Please do.
There's a time and a place for everything, and I'll tell you where they are for Italian cookies. Never in the trash.
I'm so glad we all agree. The Italians have contributed so much to cinema, to attractive people, to cuisine in general.
Stick to tiramisu.
Tiramisu, just throw everything out. You touch the sun with tiramisu. Don't go backwards. All right, so I'm so glad we all agree on that. Number three, I will say store-bought but baked at home. That's like the Pillsbury things that come in the tube. Yeah. They're still making the house smell like cookies. They're still soft and melty and delicious. They're not quite homemade, but they're close. Number four is mass-produced bullshit like Oreos, Girl Scout. They still have, Oreos, unbelievable. Robin, have you ever dipped an Oreo in milk? Do you have those two products in the Philippines, Oreos and milk?
We do. We actually have really good cookies in the Philippines, and you can find them if you go to the import section.
What kind of cookies? Oreo?
I'd say Oreo is like top 5, but
we have really good cookies. We buy American cookies.
Nutter butters are good too. Speaking
Milano's, come on, Milano's.
Oh yeah, Milano's are good
for sure.
Here's the problem though with Milano's: they only give you like 10 of them, so you got to buy like 15, 20 bags. You know what I mean?
The whole bag, and then you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, do I just eat an entire fucking
You know,
bag?
when I do that, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, idiot. You only got one fucking bag. Get back to the store.
You know what confuses me about Milanos? I think they're Italian, but they're still good. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah,
it's because they're dry on the outside, which is not my jam. But they make all the little flavors, so it's not just chocolate in the middle. They do raspberry chocolate, orange chocolate. You got to dip them in milk, though. Without the milk, Milanos are like
they need help. That's like all of these. All of these are just the outside of Milanos, but there's no goo in the middle to make them palatable.
Yeah, nothing.
All right, so after mass produced, I think Girl Scout, like some of the Girl Scout cookies, although I do think they're too sugary these days. I don't know. They fucked with the formula. They're good. Number 5 is shitty grocery store cookies from their fake bakery. You know how you can buy like the plastic thing full of cookies? You think that they're homemade. You think they're baking them there, but they're always dry and terrible. Number 5 is anything in a tin. Now it'll have like sewing shit in it. But all of those are just dry ass shortbread bullshits. And then number 6, of course, Italian cookies, which are terrible. Now, I just did want to go over types of cookies because we forgot about some. I think Black and Whites I think that's a New York thing. I've never had.
Yeah, no, they're really good. They taste the same on both sides. It's good on both sections.
I've never had that. Fortune cookies are on here twice. I think Fortune cookies are a fucking abomination. They're not good. I mean, I like reading the thing.
They're not cookies.
They're not cookies. Yeah. Exactly.
Who said you could put cookie there? It's a wonton.
It's a fucking fried wonton.
Well, here's the other thing, right? As well, is that here's where you may be confused on the fortune cookies. They're not actually cookies. They hold life advice for us.
Right. So they're it's a vessel for
like the last one I got said, give away all your possessions. Right.
Advice wonton.
Yeah, an advice wonton. We need to rename them. Peanut butter cookie. I don't think they're prominent enough. This goes back to the good bakery. A good bakery will have a great peanut butter cookie. Oh, tremendous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snickerdoodles.
I wouldn't consider like half of this stuff as cookies.
Well, wait till we get to the bestseller list.
I don't even know how to say half of them.
Have you guys ever had stroopwafel? It's Dutch. It's like
I've never even heard of it. No, sir.
Stroke popsicles?
Stroopwafel. It's the bottom middle.
Oh, stroke waffles.
Stroke waffles.
It's like what you have with coffee. It's fucking delightful.
No, I should have. Oh,
it's
okay.
like
wait, are they really small like this? Robin, are they like this? They're really small.
No. They're like this.
Have you guys ever been to a Publix?
We don't have Publix up here in Massachusetts. Well, what do they got? What should I be getting at Publix?
Fucking everything. But the most important thing is that you walk in, you go right. It's always to the right. The bakery's right there. And you know what they do?
What?
They give free cookies to kids.
Oh, that's adorable.
And they're like, they taste like homemade chocolate chip. And then the sprinkly ones. So good. Man,
something about free shit always tastes better.
What about if Eric and I went in? You think they would help us out?
What if I'm on his shoulders like a giant child?
You kidnap a child to bring with you.
Or I could be like, Daddy, can I have a cookie? Because I got to tell you, when I'm at Costco, I have to take disguises in there because they're like, you've eaten 15 burritos already. Get out. Because like most people go there to shop. I go there to eat, right? It's like a buffet. It's like IKEA.
Publix is like that. You go in, you get your free cookie, then you can go to the deli and you can get samples of everything. Like, oh, let me try that cheese. Let me try that meat. And then you go to the produce section and they've got free bananas and oranges and shit for kids too.
I'm sorry.
You got to find
that a ring where we kidnap children only for the free samples of Publix. We give them back afterwards, but we just do it for the free cookies.
You rent a kid for all the food.
Yeah, they'll be crying, snot running down their face. Like, you're not my daddy. Shut the fuck up. We're just here for the cookies. And then
we're here for the store, kid.
Publix anyways.
Right. Who brings their kids grocery shopping? That's outrageous.
Only when I go to Publix because they behave. Because they're like, I'm going to get a cookie.
Free cookies.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You go to. I can't take my kids to any other grocery store because they will fucking run away from me. I don't know. Kids now are insane. They run away from me. They scream. I have 4 children, by the way, so no. But Publix is an experience that they enjoy. It's like taking them to fucking Disney. If I ask them if they want to go to Disney or Publix, they'd be like, Publix.
Yeah. You know what it is? You got to lie to your kids. Like I tell my kids, the pet store is the zoo. Like you save a lot of money this way, you know?
Yeah.
Macaroons are way too sweet. Can we all agree on that? It's just sweet.
I mean, they're good though.
Yeah,
they are
they're
sweet.
Good. I wouldn't consider it a cookie.
I don't like ginger snaps, just so you know. Right.
I don't like ginger snaps, but I do like gingerbread. Do you like gingerbread?
Yeah, gingerbread's good.
Cookies.
I think the fried cookies, if I'm deducing here, that looks like a churro in no fucking planet.
Oh, yeah.
The churro
that's
cookie.
Churro.
But churros are great, but they're not a fucking cookie.
Mm-hmm. We had cream-filled churros the other night at Mesquite. It was very good.
Cream-filled churros?
Yeah, they were exceptional.
All right, I just want to go over the sales numbers in the United States real quick because I find this vaguely interesting. Number one is sort of ambiguous private label cookies. All right, so throw that out. Oreos, number one, not quite with a bullet, but $647 million spent every year in the United States on Oreos. Right behind Chips Ahoy, which I'm not going to shit on chocolate chip cookies, but I don't think Chips Ahoy are that good.
You know the ones with the little people, right? And the trees.
Keebler elves. Oh yeah,
yeah. Elves. Those are good.
Those are good, but they're soft. The soft chew, I think they're called.
Soft is better. Did you know that Keebler was a real dude? Godfrey Keebler started a bakery in Philadelphia in 1853. In a tree?
Wow.
We're really loosely defining what a cookie is.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So
Little Debbie.
Little Debbie, Nutty Buddy, you got a fucking cookie.
That's a wafer.
That is a wafer. In the oatmeal cream thing, okay, I guess it's in so much that an Oreo is a cookie because it's two cookies with goo in the middle. I guess we can say an Oreo or an oatmeal cream pie is a cookie, but that doesn't feel right. Don't you think?
Vanilla wafers are terrible. That's like sandpaper.
They need a lot of help. They need to be covered in chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know, after this, I think the Brits are right. Maybe we should really call them biscuits because like
then what do we do with our
criteria
biscuits?
for cookies is just so what do you call
and Little
biscuits?
Debbie? First of all, makes like 50 different snacks, right? And these are the two they pick.
No, well, Milano though did make the list. I don't know if you can see this.
That's good. And Loft House, I don't even know what that is. What's a Loft House? That sounds like a new place for the city.
Excellent marketing around their cookies back in the like late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if you guys have seen this ad where the mom, they did a bunch of them. The one I remember so clearly is the mom hiding them in the light sconce.
Oh yeah.
The Milanos were like mom's cookies. Keep my kids away from my cookies. And it deeply embedded in my brain that as a mother now with children, Milanos are my cookies. They can't have them.
You know what? That might have seeped into a lot of people's brains because my wife hides her Milanos from our children, and I didn't know. I thought it was an odd thing, but it has
series of ads, late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
Mom like hiding in the closet, eating her Milanos, and I was like, first of all, that's so good, mom advertising, because that is 100%
really
what we
good.
have to do to snack.
Yeah.
We have to like hide in the bathroom.
You want to know what cookies you never have to hide? These fucking abominations.
You got to put those in a tin and give them away.
You can't give them away. You can
these on Halloween. It usually comes in the tin too. Like this is the tin garbage.
You know what though? Let me just tell you something that you both are missing. If you leave these around long enough, right, you can take those things and fire them off as missiles to put out someone's windshield with that in a slingshot. Those ones with the green stuff in the middle, those things are like,
this is how Ukraine's staying in the war.
Stars.
They got too many of these and just whipping them at Russian soldiers.
Yeah, I thought those things, that's chocolate, but I thought that was a hot dog, and I was like, what?
It's like a turn
here. Yikes, right? It was like
how crumbly that you're gonna take a bite, it's gonna be fucking crumbs everywhere. Moisture, Italians, moisture.
They've got to be made to go in coffee, right? Like Italians make.
I mean, that would work.
Coffee.
Yeah, but you know what? Donuts are meant to go in coffee too, and they're moist and delicious. American, listen, I am not a xenophobe, but our desserts are the best on the planet, and I'm gonna die on that hill. All right, let's go to the news.
Ours and Americans?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Key lime pie?
All the custards, key lime pie, apples, cakes, like cupcakes. We went nuts with cupcakes, right? We lost our mind with cupcakes.
I think chocolate chip cookies are American too, aren't they?
Chocolate chip cookies are American, like death by chocolate, and we just like bananas Foster.
We invented ice cream.
Invented ice cream.
It is. I was looking at the like American foods list, and to be fair, we have not made an impact globally with anything, except we do have a lot of desserts. Americans have invented a lot of desserts. That's about it, though.
No, listen. I think American bistro, because here's the thing. I've traveled the globe. You can't get a big ass steak, a hard seared steak with like a blue cheese compound butter. That's American bistro. The seafood tower, like the lobster, the clams, the fucking mussels, all that shit. Crab legs. That's American bistro.
Yes,
like,
people food is American food. You're right, Eric.
I think we're coming back.
We definitely have our own portion sizes that are different than the rest of the world.
Well, listen, we're bigger than the rest of the world, so we have to eat more than the rest of the world. That's how it works. We're big boned. All right, what's in the news?
We might eat them.
That's it. All right, what are we doing?
Got a lot of mileage out of that.
I knew we would. Cookies, Americans.
Okay, first story. So we usually don't cover tech as much on the Eric and Rodney show, and
because we're dumb.
Because when we do, our viewers get mad at us for sounding dumb. Yes. So we're gonna take that calculated risk.
Good luck.
I thought that was science, not tech.
Yeah, well.
Well, I don't know what this is. I think it's a bit
morons
so
when it comes to
It would be a
science.
subsection of science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is very hard to understand, this story, but go ahead.
It is. So they're now making tiny living robots called anthrobots, and what they are is they're these tiny cells made from human cells. They're able to move, and one day scientists they plan to purpose them to help heal wounds and damaged tissue. So we're kind of still scratching the very surface of what these anthrobots could do. But the fact that we can now create these tiny robot cells and one day put them in our bodies to repair our organs because of the stupid shit us humans do to our organs is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Here's the problem, though. Right off the bat, the headline: tiny living robots made from human cells surprise scientists. That's fucking horrifying. Anytime a scientist is surprised by some shit they're doing, I'm concerned. So scientists have created tiny living robots from human cells that can move around in a lab dish.
It's a rebrand.
What's that?
It's a rebrand.
What was it originally?
I'm trying to find the what they were calling them.
Xeno something?
Yeah.
But they've been using, like, in actual medicine, they have been using microbots mixed with human tissue to fix blood problems for at least 10 years.
No. Well, this one, so I don't know what the difference is. So what I do know is that at Harvard and Tufts, there's teams of scientists that have been making these things. What they made them out of originally was amphibious cells. Now they thought that they had to be amphibious. Now they've made them out of human cells, specifically cells found in the trachea, because we have a lot of cells laying around from the COVID research. Now, cells from the trachea have cilia. So these things are fucking moving in a surprising way. They're shocked by this. And they put one of these in a thing with some human neuron that was damaged, and it went and fucking encouraged it to fix itself. That's horrifying.
That's not horrifying. That's fascinating. That's cool. It repaired itself.
You just
Where can we buy these Band-Aids?
Can you imagine? Internal Band-Aids? Oh my God.
No,
so you're not concerned by this?
For a very long time. But it's funny. It's hilarious that they would say it surprises scientists. Like, what some idiot scientist that's been living under a rock was surprised by this. But it's been, I mean, the anthrobots thing aside, Xenobots was like 2020.
No, this is old technology. Living robot cells fixing things inside
before
of me.
that, they had, for the love of God, I cannot remember the name, but like it's a biobot that was cleaning blood, and that was like 2010. And in 2006, they were in the lab trying to solve HIV with pairing human healthy blood cells and robots, and like reteaching your blood how to clean itself with someone else's healthy. And so it's not new. It's just, it's no scientist should be surprised. We're allowed to be surprised, scientists are not.
Yeah.
Tell that to CNN. Does it shock you that scientists are figuring out how to have living robots fix AIDS blood, and then they go out into the real world and we have people going, the world is flat? You know what I mean? Like the dichotomy between how fucking stupid we all are and scientists making little tiny living robots that fix AIDS. That's crazy, isn't it?
For me, what's really scary is what the average is. Like, forgetting the outliers of the super fucking brilliant people and the super dumb people, it terrifies me what the average is.
Oh, it's low.
Like, when you're out there just like, I was at Disney yesterday, and Disney's not even like a full subsection of the United States population or the global population, because you do have to have a certain amount of money to go, right?
Yeah.
And it's just terrifying, not like how stupid and rude the average person is. It's
middle America. It's a whole place where everyone from flyover states go to wait in line and go on shitty rides. It's fascinating.
Are you guys talking about New York? What are you? I'm confused here.
Disney World, New York, same thing.
Yeah, it sounds normal to me.
Disney World is a little bit more geared towards children, less likely to be robbed or stabbed, but I mean, not that much less likely.
Yeah. We have that going for us. I did a bunch of research on you last night. I watched some YouTube videos, and one of your employees mentioned floating in a sensory deprivation tank. Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah, that must have been Megan. the other, Megan.
I think it was. So let me just real quick, I'm gonna blast through this story. But speaking of this thing, when I used to float in sensory deprivation tanks, and I had this really weird hallucination one time. So I was in there and I was thinking about consciousness, right? And I was like, so we can think about an elephant being conscious and it makes sense. And we know that we're conscious and we think probably our cats and dogs are. And then I go, we probably think if we have a pet hamster or a ferret that they have consciousness. But then when it gets below that, we'll step on ants and not give a shit. We'll kill mosquitoes. So I was like, holy shit, we equate consciousness with size. And then I was like, what? And then it kept going in a spiral because I was out of my mind. I was hallucinating. Then I was like, what if DNA isn't mutating by chance? What if it's choosing to mutate? What if DNA is conscious? My worry is, what if this fucking thing is sentient and it's going to kill us all, Robin? We're worried about the AI machines, the Terminator machines. I think we should be worried about the small things. And this all came from a sensory deprivation. I guess my point is you guys got to fucking float. It's amazing. You think some really weird shit.
This is the stuff you hallucinate about. This is amazing. Oh, we got to do this more often.
Oh, I've seen aliens.
That's the type of rabbit hole I go down to.
See? Smart.
It's because I'm an anxious person. So, you take me and put me in any scenario where I'm allowed to like hallucinate or go down the rabbit hole and I just anxiously get out of control.
You're naked, you're warm, you're having a good time, you had salt water up your ass.
Let me ask you a question. There's no lights in here or you're floating?
Total sensory deprivation. So what bothered me about when your chick was telling the story, she said there was music. Shut the fucking music off. You need zero. If your brain has zero.
That's not sensory deprivation, right?
Yeah. That's a sense. That's not sensory deprivation.
How long are you in there for?
So you're usually in there for an hour. In the first 10 minutes, you're trying to get comfortable. You get fucking salt water in your eyes. And then eventually you settle in and then just crazy shit starts happening. I highly recommend it.
But why does it happen? I don't understand. Because you don't have anything else vying for your attention? Is that?
We're distracted.
Yeah, when your brain has nothing else to do, it starts its short circuit. And they've done brainwave studies where you go into theta wave meditation, and that's what monks do when they're in the mountains. It's not like, hot yoga class. You're doing some real deep shit. It's crazy, but it's not going to work the first time.
It's really extreme for us now because it's such a jump.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about the way we lived even 100 years ago, right? Like, sure, there was sensory input, but it wasn't like it is now. We are all sensory overloaded 24/7. And then you jump into a sensory deprivation tank and it's like, that's quite the difference between my day to day.
I don't know how you guys have lived your lives, so I'm not, but it's probably the only time you're going to see total darkness. So open your eyes, close your eyes. There's zero difference. It is black. There's nothing. So, and the water's heated to your body.
How long are you in there?
About an hour. But sometimes it feels like 10 hours. Sometimes it feels like 10 minutes. It's with
like
with
being
nothing
in the womb, but without womb sounds.
Yeah. I go back to my mother.
You can't bring your phone. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not bring your phone, Rodney.
Don't bring your phone.
My Apple Watch. I need you.
It ain't gonna work. All right, let's do egg fried rice and then the commercial because I think the commercial is pertinent to our guest here.
Oh,
today.
Good. Okay.
Oh, she's a
so
marketer.
before you guys say this isn't a real news story, the story is in fact a real article. It's from CNN, and it's a national problem in China. So there's this Chinese celebrity chef. His name is Wang Gang. That's his real name. I'm not making that up. So he posted a video of him cooking egg fried rice during the death anniversary of Mao Zedong's eldest son, who is in fact a hero and a martyr. So now the CCP is a bit mad and upset because even though the video of him is just about him making egg fried rice, it's the timing of it on the day of the death anniversary, and they're saying it's aimed to mock the hero's death. Now, of course, Wang Gang is upset, and he vowed to never cook egg fried rice ever again. What?
Okay, this story took me a couple times reading through it to fully understand.
He won't cook egg fried rice ever.
I know, but he loves egg fried rice. He's Wang Gang, for fuck's sake. Okay, so this is the story. Ready? I'm going to break it down. This is responsible for 40 to 80 million deaths. Okay, he had a son. His son served in the Korean War. He was an officer in the Chinese Liberation Party's army. They were having an air raid, and this guy goes, fuck that noise, I'm hungry. So he went and made some egg fried rice. The smoke from his egg fried rice evidently alerted the Allies to their position where they carpet bombed these motherfuckers into oblivion. Now, because he's a war hero, despite the fact that he's some rich kid that needed egg fried rice, and I'm positive he wasn't the only one that died in this fucking air raid, you are not allowed to make egg fried rice around his death day. It looks like a slap in the face of the Chinese government. You guys follow that story now?
When you say around, what does that mean? Like day of, a couple of days before, day after? What is the story?
I'm glad you asked, because this isn't Wayne Gang's first fucking foray into egg fried rice around the date. He made egg fried rice 2 days before, a few years ago, and got in trouble. He made a very elaborate egg fried rice a week before and got in trouble. This time he made it on the actual day, and people are fucking mad.
So he's basically Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Like, he got told,
yes,
that's not socially acceptable. Now, to be fair, I don't live in China. I know nothing about the culture there and how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad this really is, right? Like, I don't know. Is it really that bad? I don't know.
I can tell you, in 2018, the country passed a law to ban the slander of national heroes and martyrs, a crime punishable up to 3 years in prison. That's how bad
so it's bad. All right.
So let me ask you a question.
Bad boy. He got slapped on the wrist twice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's done it on the day. Like,
he doesn't give a fuck. But now he's going, okay, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm never making egg fried rice again, which seems like a bridge too far to me. Now, I will say, so this is...
Isn't it his livelihood?
Yes.
Like, fuck you. I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
I don't know a lot about...
It's bizarre.
Yeah, traditional Chinese...
I have a question. What if he got a rice cooker, number one? Number two is he still in China?
He is still in China.
Well, then you know what? Here's what's going to happen. He's going to go to the same camp that Jack Ma was sent to and come back and be a completely different person. Or he'll just disappear permanently. We'll never hear from him.
Start making Italian cookies. You can.
He might jump off. He might jump off a building. Probably jump off a building. He's so distraught.
So, you know, it's funny, though, that this is why I think that there's some subversive aspect to the Chinese culture that's going to mean a war with them. Look, a lot of people are going to die, but we're going to win because they don't like the regime. As a matter of fact, November 25th, the day that this guy had to make egg fried rice and got fucking carpet bombed, there are certain egg fried rice festivals in China, and they call it Chinese Thanksgiving because they think that if he had lived, that Mao would have made China a dictatorship like North Korea. So they suspect if this guy lived, they were on the same team as North Korea. He'd be right there, and China would be the same thing. So the whole country's kind of celebrating it.
Resulting in his own death?
No, yep, he died. How much smoke?
How do they know it was pork fried rice?
Well, that's
egg fried rice. Sorry.
Like, who lived to tell the tale? He was like, "Yeah, I was sitting there."
Egg fried rice is okay.
Make egg fried rice last century.
Egg fried rice is good, but have they ever tried pork fried rice? Now that's worth
dying
for. Yeah, that might be worth it. Egg fried rice. I'm like, oh, come on.
You imagine you're sitting next to this guy in a bunker. He's goes, I'm gonna go make some rice. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? They're bombing us. He's very hungry. Shut up for 5 seconds, and then everyone's dead.
Asians, man, we love our rice.
Yeah, Asians gonna calm down with that shit. I know it's a stereotype.
How long ago was this? Were there microwaves when this fella met his fate? No.
Look at this picture. No.
Well, I don't know. It could have been a filter from Instagram.
I don't think they had microwave technology.
No.
That's such a good point. Egg fried rice is good, but is it worth dying for? Like lot of, I'm sure, once again, I don't know what that one bomb killed this guy. He killed a lot of people that day.
Yeah. I doubt he was probably even making it. It probably was one of the other. The
culture is just so different. Like, could you imagine if we had a law about any kind of food we couldn't make on a certain day? Could you even? There would be riots in the street if they talked about it.
Yo, listen, you can't make Hot Pockets on July 8th because of our JFK Jr. Don't you remember he was eating a Hot Pocket when he crashed his plane? Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like you just can't do it.
That's right.
I like this guy, though. He's a real dick, this guy. I like what
he better get himself out of China or he's going to find himself in a real pickle.
He's part of the Liberation Front, man. We just don't know. We don't know the story behind it.
Exactly.
Right? It can't be an accident, right?
No.
It can't. He got in trouble for it twice before. He can't have just accidentally been like, oops, I forgot. I'm making rice on the day that could get me killed.
Oops, I did it again. Imagine he came out in a Britney Spears outfit and was like, whoops, I did it again.
Definitely not top 5 meals worth.
No, definitely not. Absolutely not.
Meals worth dying.
What are the top 5 meals worth dying for, though?
Oh, boy. American Bistro, a seafood tower would be great. I think
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Obviously. The old ones, though. You said the new ones are no good. I haven't had any in a while.
Leave the memories alone. I had a Hot Pocket recently. It was not good. I don't know if their crisping sleeve was defective. I don't know if it was my microwave, but I didn't like it.
All right. I don't think I like food enough that any one food would be worth it for me.
I've had a couple BLTs I might die for. I've had some I might kill people for. All right.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I don't know if I'd want to lose my life over any kind of rice, to be honest.
What about jambalaya? Any
I like jambalaya, but definitely not. I can't think of anything.
American food. guys. Jambalaya.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have guessed, but
From a riverboat captain.
I am telling you that American cuisine is underrated. Okay, this is what I want to do now. Do you guys have 2 minutes to watch a commercial that's all the rage?
What happens if I don't?
Well,
we have to leave the show.
I'm here anyways.
I'm going to play it anyway. I was just being
We
polite.
don't have anything else going on.
So since we're all in marketing, this is a commercial that has blown up this bar in Northern Ireland. Has anyone seen it here? No? So this is okay. This is exciting. Okay, ready? Here we go. Our feature presentation.
God knows what is hiding in those weak and drunken hearts. Guess he kissed the girls and made them cry, those hard-faced queens of misadventure. God knows what is hiding in those weak and sunken lines. Fiery thrones of muted angels, giving love but getting nothing back. Oh, people, help the people. And if you're homesick, give me your hand and I'll hold it. Help the people, nothing will drag you down. Oh, and if I had to bring, oh, and if I had to bring, I'd be cold as a stone, rich as a fool. It turned all those good hearts away.
Are you trying to do to me in the middle of this podcast?
But hear me out. Wasn't that just the plot to Up? Like a guy with a dead wife and a
now
dog?
that I think about it, yeah.
So what do we think? From a marketing point of view, I think you can't go wrong with a sad old man and a dead wife and a dog and a little beer, right? I mean, those are classic.
I thought
tropes.
the dog was the star of the show, but who was the ad for? I didn't catch.
It's for the bar.
It was for.
I know, but who is that? I've never even heard of them. Who are these people?
It's a bar. Okay, so this is sort of the beauty. It is a single bar in Northern Ireland that's just trying to get people in.
Quote at the end was just
tremendous, right?
It's a masterpiece, honestly. I typically hate advertising because usually you have a huge board of people who are all arguing about how they're going to manipulate the viewer, right?
Yes.
And the things we pull on to manipulate people are fucked up, right? And most advertising, there's basic premises of behavioral psychology we don't really have to get into. But at the end of the day, it's all about eliciting human emotion. And this did so in a way that I felt was authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've all been in a bar, right? Like, we've been to the pub.
Robin hasn't. Yes.
I would concede in one. So, yep.
Do you know the pubs in the Philippines? Oh, no.
No,
they don't have alcohol.
Really?
No, they just can't get divorced when they do drink.
They don't have Guinness.
We have shitty beer, but that's about it.
No Guinness. Okay, so that is a travesty. But you go to the pub, and it's this sort of like concept, right? You walk into the pub, and all the barriers are gone of wherever you came from, whether you're rich, poor, married, single, old, young. Those barriers disappear when you go to the pub, and that's an authentic truth. And they just took something that is true and they turned it into an ad. They took a story that probably they've seen more than once. They've probably seen this story, maybe not the dog, right? Because that.
Well, I was gonna say they added the dog for emotional.
Yeah, the dog is a nice touch.
Yeah, he was.
But that story of feeling alone and going into your local pub and getting whatever your drink of choice is and having somebody come over and say hi when you're on a down day, a bad day, you're feeling lonely. Like, that's a real truth that a lot of people have lived. And I think the best marketing, the best advertising, it's just authenticity. It's transparency. It's taking the things that happen every day, turning them into a story and letting people see it. And so that ad was brilliant.
I think it's beautiful too because they fucking went for it. Like, they had a high concept. They knew they were going to make people emotional. But now, like, if that bar was in my town, I'd definitely fucking go. Like, it was a great, and they didn't play it safe, you know, and they didn't go to the boring middle. And I think this is a perfect segue because this is your website, and you say B2B shouldn't be boring to boring, which it generally is. I'm not sure exactly trying to get people in a pub is B2B necessarily, but I think everyone could learn from ads like this. So, since it was such a beautiful segue, do you want to go into a little bit of your backstory so the audience knows who the fuck you are?
Sure. So I'm Megan Killion, obviously. I am the chief consultant of MKC Agency. MKC started as Megan Killion Consulting about 5 years ago. I've been in B2B tech marketing for 15 years. And before that, I got pregnant in high school, dropped out of college, and was a homeless single mother. I used to bait tackle in the winter.
I saw this. Look at this. If you told me I'd be a homeless single mother one day who quotes a funeral, that is fucking crazy.
Yep. And then I discovered B2B tech sales. The first time I made six figures, it was buying and selling books on Amazon. Like, I had a small community college where I lived on Cape Cod. And I would go kind of during the end of each semester and walk up to students and be like, you want to sell me your books? And I went and I got the price list from the bookstore. And I was like, I'll give you 10% more than the bookstore will give you. Bought it for 10% more and sold it on Amazon for 10% less. And that was the first time I ever made six figures. Wow. So that's how I learned how to hustle. And then I sort of floundered for a little bit, I guess. I worked at the front desk of a hotel. I was a bartender. And when I was bartending, I met a lot of people. And people kept trying to hire me out of my bartending job. And I didn't get it, you know, because I was young. And I'm autistic as shit. So, like, wrapping my head around why people do the things that they do sometimes in the moment is really hard for me. And over time, I kind of figured out that it was because I was good at sales. I was upselling people in the bar. And so eventually I took somebody up on it. I got into cell phone sales and really quickly rose up the ranks. And that was doing B2B cell phone sales, setting up clouds for businesses. And once I put cloud on my LinkedIn, the timing was just so fucking right in the world that I had recruiters jumping all over me. And I just kind of made the best of it each step of the way, right? And I worked for a lot of tech companies whose marketing sucked. And I, through and through, I'm a salesperson. I'm really not a marketer. I'm a salesperson. But I learned marketing because I was working with marketers who didn't get it. They were marketing just to market, and they didn't understand sales enablement. And so I, over time, built that knowledge, and eventually started my own company to walk into other B2B tech companies and be like, stop throwing money away on marketing that doesn't matter. You need to have a goal. Usually the goal should be sales enablement, because you want more revenue. Who gives a fuck if people recognize your brand if it doesn't help you sell? You want people to recognize your brand and have some type of feeling aligned with it that makes them want to buy from you. So yeah, that's me. I just published a book a couple months ago, and over Thanksgiving week, it was an Amazon bestseller, top 10 in 3 different categories. And that was a really, really surreal moment for me. My parents both passed away 5 years ago. My mom died 5 years ago. My dad died 4 years ago. And it was just one of those moments when I was like, man, if you could see me now, you would not believe the trajectory of my life. Because these were parents who helped me out through, I got pregnant senior year of high school. I made a lot of stupid decisions. There are a lot of people who, when they think of me, still think of the girl who did, body shots at 5:00 in the afternoon.
That's how I think of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So especially if you're from Massachusetts, that's
I'm in Massachusetts right now, as a matter of fact.
That's where I'm from. And So yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm speaking at Rejection Con this month, which is an MSP conference for some of the lesser known speakers. Because do you guys go to conventions?
No. Comic-Con.
I've been to them.
So typically what happens is you've got all these speaker slots and you've got all these slots for sponsors. And what they do is they take the sponsorships and they give them a speaking slot in exchange for the sponsorship. And then they give them like a list of topics they can choose to speak about. And there's a lot of friction in that. And it's become honestly a problem in the event space because you've got speakers who are speaking about things they don't know anything about on topics that they've just been given. And it turns into a sales pitch. They spend like 5 minutes talking about the topic and the other 25 talking about the piece of software that they're at the conference to sell.
Of course.
So Rejection Con is this sort of conference where it's like, come talk about things that are real in our industry. And they put out all the names in advance, the sessions in advance, and people got to vote on who they wanted to hear speak. And I think I was in second place for the speakers, which is crazy because some of these speakers are like big fucking deals. Yeah. Say, like with my Amazon book, do you guys know who Justin Michael is of the Justin Michael Method?
No, but tell us about him.
He's the #1 best-selling author in the sales category.
You'll get there. I have faith. You know, your story reminds me of
sales, right? And so like he reviewed my book, and I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, Justin Michael reviewed my book! Like this is happening to me. I'm a sales influencer, guys. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck that happened."
I was going to say, your life story could be made into a commercial that would get people to a bar. Have you ever considered doing that? Pregnant in high school and then best-selling author? That'll get me to drink a Guinness.
Yeah. I don't know that I would want to advertise for alcohol because I don't think you have to convince people to drink.
Ah, touche.
I mean,
maybe honestly, they've never heard of alcohol.
It's just like, we're close by. Yeah. We'll call your Uber for you. Yeah. You know, like it's not hard to convince people to come out and drink. But I have thought a lot about doing something with my story that can have impact other than what I'm already doing. I think my story is a huge part of MKC. Our mission is to scale 100 MSPs while elevating 100 people out of poverty because that's what it did for me, right? Like I was homeless. And then I was just struggling, hand to mouth, until I was in B2B tech sales. Now I own 2 houses, happily married. I've got 4 kids. There's nothing we really haven't done in terms of the things that you want to be able to do for your kids. Like they have college savings accounts. They can see the doctor whenever they want. And so I would love to figure out something powerful to do with the story, especially for young women. Because I think the messaging, right? Like I co-wrote Heels to Deals with a bunch of other women. And in my chapter, I talked about how I wrote a play when I was 9 or 10 and we produced it and put it on in my backyard. And I raised like $250 for charity through that. And then I wrote my very, very first book when I was in 7th grade. Called Moon Poems, and I got a friend of mine to illustrate it, and we raised $3,000 for charity with that. Like I sold it to all the parents of the school and all the businesses, and I'm not proud of this one, but I got our local McDonald's shut down back when they were leveling the rainforest for cattle.
Okay.
Now I realize in retrospect, like it was a franchise, and I fucked up somebody's livelihood, but I didn't know that as like a 4th grader.
You can't win that.
And no one, not a single fucking person in my life said entrepreneur or leader to me.
Yeah.
And girls don't hear that enough. They hear you're bossy, you're pushy, you're know-it-all. They don't hear you're an entrepreneur. You have everything.
Or you're a leader.
Yeah, you're a leader. And I think especially when young women experience hardship early in life, absolutely everyone told me to get married. I got pregnant 17. I had my son at 18. His father was 15 when I got pregnant and 16 when I had him. Yeah. And absolutely everyone in my life was like, get married. And he proposed, and my entire family was absolutely devastated that I told him no. He lives there, and this is no shade on him because he's a good guy who does the best that he can, but he lives in a shack on his grandparents' property.
Yeah.
And that was the trajectory of his life. And he's happy that way. You know, like he likes to go fishing and keep his life simple, and that's fine. But that is not who I wanted to be.
So you have 2 homes and he has 1 shack? Is that how it's worked out?
Yeah, I have 2 homes and he has 1 shack. Mm-hmm.
That's not working out.
Funny.
And I should have married him. I should have married him, and I shouldn't have done anything for myself. I should have been a stay-at-home mom and put all that I have into elevating him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the talk track. And like
that sounds like a terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. And what's nuts is like I'm from a liberal family in Massachusetts. This was not some like Tennessee backwoods bullshit.
I was gonna say this has the whiffs of Appalachia. Where are you from in Massachusetts?
I'm from Cape Cod. I grew up in South Dennis.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. But it was just the kind of the talk track was you fucked up your life royally. And because I was all of these things, like I was a straight A student, National Merit Scholar, a recipient of the Adams Scholarship, which for those that don't know is like the Massachusetts grant to go to all of our schools for free if you're above a certain level of grades and you score a certain level on the test scores. And so everybody looked at me like, why have you just trashed everything? You were so smart and you've thrown it all away. And I internalized and believed that for a little bit. It took me a while to be like, no, fuck you. I'm badass. Why would being a mom mean I can't do all these other things? Because absolutely no one says that to dudes.
No.
That's not the talk track guys get. Like,
no, they'd be like, just abandon your child and go do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah,
and they go, no, that's a good idea. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let me ask you this. So you had this line in some of the videos where you say that you were helping people buy second yachts. That's how successful you were when it came to this tech sales shit. What is the key with the SDR approach? Like you're obviously successful. Your agency's huge. You have a lot of employees. So you must have a lot of clients. Well, I mean, it's relatively speaking, but it's big. Like what's the fucking secret sauce here? What is it? Help me out. Help me get a couple yachts and a couple houses and I don't want 4 kids, but
the secret is that there's no secret.
Oh, God damn it.
I think everybody wants like a magic wand, secret sauce, whatever. And the secret sauce is putting in the fucking work.
Oh, no. So, it always is putting in the work.
You have to figure out who you are. First things first, you have to know who you are. What do you stand for? What are your core values? What's your mission? What's your vision? What makes you different from your competitors? Like, why are you cool? What makes you fucking cool? And I have worksheets for that, like kind of to reverse engineer and create your own story if you believe in story brand. And then you have to figure out who your prospects are.
Okay.
If you're an existing company, I say follow the 80-20 rule. Go find the 20% of your customers that are paying 80% of the bills.
Yep.
If you don't have anybody yet, think about like who would just like make a list of companies that would just be so fucking cool to work with. And find out what they have in common in terms of demographics. And then you need to dive deeper and figure out the buyer personas that live inside that demographic. And you really need to go deep. A lot of people think they can just do the demographic data and that's what an ICP is. Like that's your ideal client profile. That's bullshit. Your ideal client should align with you, your vision, your mission, your core values. You should feel like you're hitching 2 boats together and now you're going to propel faster in the water, especially when you're in something service-based, because I'm not selling a product. You have to work with actual real people on my team. And if you're a douchebag, I'm not going to let you do that because I'm not going to let you beat them up because then if anybody here has cold called in their life, it's already such a harsh job. I'm not going to let them also get it from the clients when they're calling all day and getting told to fuck off.
Yeah, you had that video about red flags, and I agree with you. Like, we've had clients that just they're going to suck, but you want their money, so then you just deal with them sucking, and it's awful. They're miserable, you're miserable, everyone's miserable.
And I think we almost all make that mistake early on when we start a business because we need the money, and so we're like, I'm just going to deal with it. But in reality, long term, it'll take you under because I almost gave up my business because I had a mental breakdown from dealing with shitty clients. Like, just don't do it, skip it.
You know what a good green flag is though that you posted this I agree the cussing call thing. If no one cusses, it's not gonna happen. If they do, if you do, but if you both are saying shit fucking ass, oh my god, the deal's done, isn't it? And I think it's bigger than the bad words. It means that they're comfortable.
It's bonding.
They're showing
it's authenticity because how many people
trust you
don't swear?
Exactly.
like the percentage of the population that actually doesn't swear is so tiny.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that don't swear
idiots.
until they feel comfortable with you.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
So you're getting them comfortable. They're cursing with you. So then when it comes to outreach, after you've built that buyer persona and you've gone deep and you've figured out where they hang out, who they trust, where they get valuable information from, how they talk, the jargon, how they like to be approached, all those things, you want to talk to them where they are. So like, I love LinkedIn. It's huge for us because we only do B2B.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do Facebook because a lot of our clients are doing B2B into very small businesses and they don't necessarily LinkedIn. But like I've done it's now $550 million in B2B tech revenue. And between 80 and 90% of that has come from LinkedIn. Wow. LinkedIn used to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like in 2015, when I was a BDR, I was doing 40 meetings a month, not working very hard on LinkedIn with shitty messaging. Like I go back and when you go to message someone and your old message history shows up and you're just like, oh God,
you cringe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like, I was not good at this, but it felt like a DM back then. So people responded to it. And now I think LinkedIn strategy is a lot more about content and building a long-term content strategy. Like 2 years ago into a year ago, I had a much broader audience and I was trying to gain followers. And now I have like 18,000 followers. And then I went niche because that wide content doesn't bring you revenue. Those are vanity metrics. How many likes you get, how many shares, how many comments. They don't actually translate into money in your pocket. Now I have a lot less of those vanity metrics. Like they don't go viral, but people message me and they're like, hey, can you, that template you were talking about, can you make one for my company? Or, hey, you were talking about this session you did with a specific MSP. Could you come do that for us? And that niche content is what travels. And then being able to pair outbound in a really genuine way. We've all been pitch slapped probably 15, 20 times a day, right? Mm-hmm. You get met like B2B lead gen just at you all the time. I prefer to do things like create polls and then message people and be like, hey, you're a leader in this space. I'd love your vote on my poll. And I make it relevant. So it'll be something like, hey, MSP owners, where's most of your revenue coming from? Is it referrals? Is it outbound, inbound, something else, right?
So it's still content marketing, but it's done in a clever way as opposed to pitch slapping everybody all the time, right?
And then I'm reaching
out. I like
that
pitch slapping. That's good.
Pitch slapping. Yeah.
That's a good. That's clever.
And then after they vote in your poll, you can make a relevant message to them, right? Where you're like, hey, you voted in my poll. This is what you said. Is that getting you to your revenue goal? And if they're like, no, then I'm like, can we spend 15 minutes just workshopping that? And worst case scenario, you walk away with like my advice, and best case scenario, we figure out a way to work together to get you there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And getting other people doing that too. So I believe in every SDR should be building their personal brand.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what's going to support them long term versus just because ultimately, right, if all you're going to do is mass email and pitch slap people, I can automate bots to do that. Mm-hmm. So what is the value of having a person do it? There isn't one.
Right.
You got to build your community.
The value of a person is the person.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a great way to get people to respond to LinkedIn DMs. Invite them on a podcast. I got to tell you, it's fucking unbelievable. Oh my God, I get too many.
Or can I interview you for my book? Can I get a quote?
I should write a book. I'm illiterate though.
You know what I use on mine is this is what I say to them. I'm making a movie and I need you to be the star. It's about 6 months of work. No pay, obviously.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to need some money.
Joking. Yeah, matter of fact, I need 45 million.
For a long time, a lot of the like pushed LinkedIn messaging was very negative. It was like, find something that's wrong with your prospect and tell them it's wrong with them. And I still get those messages that are like, people telling me there's something wrong with my LinkedIn profile. And I'm like, really? Like, right. What?
Exactly.
And it's like, don't tell people.
And they have 200 followers, right?
Don't tell people their babies are ugly as your opening remark. Like, my opening remark is just, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that. I mean,
there's a
subsection of people that do like that.
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre. Man, I have a lot of other questions, but can we talk about witchcraft for a second? Are we allowed to do that?
Sure. I'd love to talk about witchcraft.
Oh, good. I'm not so that like paganish, does that fall into the whole thing? Here's my thing with this. I'm a devout atheist. I'm more agnostic. I just don't give a fuck. But I think if I was going to do anything, at least the trees and the air and the ocean are there. There's fucking proof that they exist. Yeah. There's proof that they give me life. That allegedly. I think, yeah, allegedly. According to science.
You're describing my like journey right now.
Yeah, so I got married by a witch. She was my aunt. It was convenient. Listen, it wasn't going to be anything Catholic. That's for fuck sure. But so
you're going to get in trouble again.
I know. Every time I do a Catholic thing on the show,
he gets in trouble.
Fuck him. So like, can you tell us a little bit about witchcraft and your journey there and manifesting? That's a thing you do. I mean, you get 2 houses. I want 2 houses. I only have this fucking piece of shit. I want another one.
So I was an atheist for a long time. I went to church as a kid. I grew up Methodist. My parents were like really Methodist. My mom was the assistant pastor in our church.
Look at you, 2 Methodists. Oh my God.
I have nothing bad to say about the church I grew up in. Truly great community, lots of wonderful people. I mean, there were people that weren't great, but mostly great people. But I went on mission trips as a kid, and part of going on mission trips was like really deep biblical study. And every single time I read the Bible, I moved further and further. I was like, what? Every time I was like, what the fuck?
Can I just tell you, kids that go on mission trips get pregnant at 17. I think there's a direct correlation.
That is a statistic, I'm sure, somewhere.
Run the number.
But I just more and more grew away from it. So then I was atheist for a long time, and I say devoutly atheist, like, fuck you, none of this is real. You're all like toddlers praying to an imaginary friend, right?
Now that's where I am. I guess I'll get to witchcraft eventually, but I'm here. So how'd you move
then
on?
I became like agnostic because part of my mom really wanted me to believe in something that was so important to her. She was like, and the way she presented it at the time, it didn't make any sense to me, but she would always say things like, Megan, you need something to get you through the days that are hard. And you can't just keep having it be you. Because eventually that worked for a long time.
They already made it. You stopped
and then I kind of I desperately needed community. Like I needed people so badly. And so I started researching things, and I've always taken a little bit from everything. So there are parts of Christianity I think are great. The organized religion is definitely not for me, but like if Jesus and I could hang out, I'm sure we would be chill. Like we would have similar values for sure. I believe that.
He'd be turning everything into wine, which is a step, that's a step in the right direction for a good time.
I don't know about his dad.
That's incredible. Right?
Like, I don't
they always
know
said Jesus could turn water into wine. And I said, I said this when I was younger, and I said, it's amazing. Jesus can turn water into wine, just never seems to have any money. Always needs money.
Can't turn anything into
money. Always needs more money.
The guy can do anything terrible with money.
Terrible.
No, he can't do money because that's there's a whole phrase about that. Give unto God what is God's and give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, right? But then you wonder why Jesus would need money. Neither here nor there. Christianity wasn't for me. And I actually started building Coven Cloud before I even really identified as a witch. So I had something called aplastic anemia.
Okay.
And it got diagnosed in my mid-20s. And they diagnosed it very late, and I was super sick. And they told me it was going to be fatal. And I ended up having to have a whole bunch of surgeries and a whole bunch of work done. And they put it into temporary remission. And it came back 3-ish years ago. And I got sick again, and it was not as bad, but bad. And I really didn't want to go through all the medical stuff again because it's a lot. Medical care in America is a joke, and it's a lot. You get put through a lot, and a lot of time is wasted, and blah blah blah. So I had some friends that were witches, and they had a coven and a circle that they were part of. And one of my friends said, "Hey, when you're going to be up here in Mass, let's meet up, and we're gonna do a healing circle for you. And you don't have to believe any of it, but let's give it a try before you go put yourself through all this garbage again." And I did it. And then I had blood work done 2 weeks later, and I was back in remission. And I had not taken a single medication. I had not done a single medical treatment. Just that one thing. So then I was
how
like,
much did the coven bill your insurance?
$0.
Oh shit! I'm in.
There's no copay.
I need their numbers because something bad's gonna happen eventually.
And then I started researching it and looking into it, and particularly like prayer is manifestation. Every religion actually kind of has this fundamental manifestation piece, which is like you have to believe, you have to put the energy out there. And it's also a law of science, right? Is that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It has to go somewhere. And we all are relatively aware that like life is a perception. So these are all things you can control. And I think a lot of it is very related to science. So yeah, then I got into kind of like loosely witchcraft, paganism. I go to a Unitarian church now. But I really just think for me, it's all about the path you walk and what you figure out throughout your life. It doesn't matter to me what you believe or how you came to that conclusion. It's really important to me that people find something that they question it. And that you find whatever it is that's going to be like your center, your true north, whatever, that helps you get through your hard days. Because if you don't have that, you're going to come across a day that's just too fucking hard. And it's work like the world that we're living in today is so heavy.
Yeah. And we're aware of the heaviness. I think years ago it was probably heavy, but we didn't know. We weren't bombarded with the heaviness of others constantly.
Yeah, it's heavy. And so you have to have something that makes it a little bit lighter. And, you know, I want to support that for everybody. Like whatever it is that makes you get up and keep fighting and makes the world a little bit less dark for you, do that. Do more of that. Honestly, for me, it's mostly reading. Like I mostly just read.
Yeah. No. I mostly just drink. So in the same way, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways.
Kindred souls.
Yeah, kindred souls. Oh, both from Massachusetts. All right. Well, we killed the hour.
Drinking lines up with Massachusetts for sure.
Yeah, well, Irish, you know. So we get. I want to. You want to tell people where to go if they want some of your services. If they don't want 2 houses and a couple of yachts, where should they go?
Yeah.
Yes, the best place to connect with me is always LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn/in/Megan Killion. Or if you put me in the search bar, I'll probably be the first result. They can also go to MKCAgency.com or MeganKillion.com. But what I really recommend is just message me on LinkedIn, tell me what's going on, and we can set something up from there. Beautiful.
You were a great guest. You pontificated, which is right. You showed up, you pontificated, and you're a witch. Oh my God.
That's all we can ask for.
Exactly. All right, do me a favor, Megan. Stick around in the green room for a second. I just have to log off on the official stream because, you know, I think LinkedIn's already cut us off. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll be back tomorrow, America. Will the guest show up? I don't know. We never know. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a game. All right, see ya. Goodbye.